coming. It'll be coming.
Excuse me, old timer.
What?
You mind if I come by to your deck for a moment?
What seems to be?
Well, my name is Chris Picard. I work for.
Kind of walked right into my backyard here.
Well, I apologize. I'm just kind of combing the neighborhood here. I work for Film Banter. My name is Chris Picard. It's a little movie review show. I don't know if you're familiar with it.
I have seen you.
Yeah, you been on YouTube lately?
I think I may have seen you do a show on sex toys, is it?
No, we don't do sex toys, sir. You must be on another channel.
Do it on,
I think that was Dildo Banter.
Prophylactics?
No, we just do movie reviews, and then we do sometimes TV shows.
Didn't you do a close-up of a sphincter the other day?
No, that wasn't us, sir.
All right. Well, what's the question, young whippersnapper?
Well, it's very simple. I want to know.
Your age, I asked them quicker than that.
I just want to see if you've seen any films lately. We're asking people in your neighborhood.
Oh, I see.
And your demographic.
Well, I have seen a film as of late.
Okay.
It's a movie called Tolkien.
Tolkien. Okay. You mean as in J.R.R. Tolkien?
Correct. Jeffrey Ross Rosenstadt Tolkien.
And what did you think about it?
Well, you know, I got to say, I thought it was a well-done piece of cinema. I thought it was a fine example of some great acting. The Brits always impress me when it comes right down to it. They always seem to have their acting and their script and their unified sense of balance all in line.
Well, that was a very well thought out and eloquent review. I appreciate that.
Bullshit, young man.
Were you familiar with the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit films and the books?
I was. I read them all 3, 6, 7, 8 times now.
Okay,
all
great.
The films, all the stupid Hobbit movies too, with the dragons and all that crap.
Mm-hmm.
I love all that garbage. You know, I think it's wonderful. I think it's an amazing stuff to watch, and of course Peter Jackson, one of the great heroes of our movie making time. But yes, I did enjoy Tolkien. I thought young Nicholas Holt, I thought it was very good. It seems to me he looks more like Benedict Cumberbatch than he has any right to. But
well, there is a resemblance there. I will give you that.
I love Lily James in the movie, who was
you mean Lily Collins, Phil Collins' daughter.
I thought she was amazing. Lily Collins.
Yes, Lily Collins. Yes, and not Joan Collins. Lily Collins.
Not Joan Collins or something James.
Exactly.
Mary James or Mary Jane. I think I wanted to smoke some reefer there.
I think you already are, and I think that's affecting your review.
It could be.
Well, we really appreciate your time. Thank you very much, and maybe we'll come down sometime again in the future.
Sure, you come down anytime you like, young man.
All right, we'll get back to your work.
Get the hell off of my lawn.
All right, thank you, sir. Goodbye.
And lo and behold, a man on the horse came over, and the apocalypse began. The people of Earth crowded around the man, and he decided there was no use, there was no help, there was no point in any of it. And so we begin another issue. That's right, another issue, another program of our beloved Film Banter. Theme song.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello. Welcome to another fun-filled episode of Film Banter. I am Chris Picard. This is Daryl Smith. As always, we are here for you, for your entertainment, for your education on all things cinema. Tonight we have a good show. We have Hobbs and Shaw, the first spin-off of the Fast and Furious franchise. We're going to be doing Tolkien tonight, which is a biopic of J.R.R. Tolkien. We're going to be doing a film called My Days of Mercy with Ellen Page and Kate Mara.
Mm-hmm.
We are also going to be doing tonight, before I forget here, High Life with Robert Pattinson.
You might as well not even talk
A science fiction film. I can do this. Hey, this was your idea.
I know, but
now you got to deal with it.
You're not even talking into the part that
doesn't
makes
matter.
megaphonium.
It doesn't matter, folks.
No,
and then we're going to be doing tonight also, what is the other film? Ophelia, of course. We're going to be doing Ophelia.
Ophelia, my bulging belly.
Yeah, that's how I feel after Red Lobster.
Ophelia, my bulging belly.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. You had a lot of food.
I did.
And then we're going to be doing a 2-minute review of a little sci-fi film called Prospect. So that's what we're doing tonight, everybody.
Very good,
We're going to turn this thing
Well,
off.
that was a fine,
wasn't really that
finally
great.
miserable job.
Yeah,
Mr.
well, I told you I didn't want to do it.
Okay, now, hi everybody. I'm Chris Picard.
I know what to say.
Okay, ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, action.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Christopher Picard speaking, and I don't want to do this. I feel like an idiot.
You're not getting the benefit of the thing.
I don't want to put my mouth on it.
Well, yeah, but
I don't
you
feel
did it.
comfortable using
Listen,
that thing. I feel like an idiot.
everyone is happy that
Yeah,
you
I did that
tried.
for you.
You gave the old college try.
Your eyeglasses tonight, your sunglasses, you look like you're ready to skydive.
Well, these are the
Those
yellow
are
glasses.
interesting,
They
yeah.
are yellow.
Skydiver's yellow.
They are yellow. Well, I peed on them
I know
to
you did.
give them a yellow. No, these are
To give it a
actually
nice
night.
patina, a
These
patina.
actually are night glasses. They are
Oh,
night.
so you get to see a little night
You're
vision?
driving at night. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Or skiing glasses to accentuate. Well, no, you just wear regular sunglasses
Yeah,
in a.
okay.
In that kind of a mode. But let's get on with our show. We could do a quick restaurant banter if we might.
If you like, we did.
I wouldn't mind at all.
For you tonight, we went to Red Lobster because I know you enjoy it.
I'd like to show off my new Gibson mug, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh,
that's right.
very
Gibson
nice.
guitars. That's right.
Yeah, I think
Courtesy
we
of
did that.
Guitar Center. There you
It's
go.
not a Mel Gibson cup. We know that.
No, it's not a Mel Gibson Cup. This is Gibson Guitars. Also, they're of course their associated competition would be the Fender guitar.
Uh-huh.
Fender and Gibson have been making guitars all these years. But we did eat at Red Lobster
Yeah,
tonight.
first time since I think March.
It's been a while. It's been a while. We usually do every 6 months or so.
Yeah, it's because you like it more than I
5
do.
months.
But
I know.
But you know, it's fine. You get your chicken, you get your cheddar bay biscuits, your salad. You had your nice little captain's platter,
Feast,
whatever
yeah,
it's
whatever
called.
the hell it was.
It's a smorgasbord
Was it
of
good?
overpriced seafood.
Yeah. Yeah, you literally get about 5 scallops, you get
Yeah.
6 fried shrimp,
Mm-hmm.
and you get about maybe 7 shrimp scampi, and you get one of those half a lobster tails.
tail, yeah.
You know, so you're really paying. It's certainly not a quantity food,
Yeah.
quantity dish.
It's
You're
a little bit of this,
basically-
a little bit of that.
You're just paying for the because they're actual scallops and shrimp.
Of
and
course.
you're paying for the seafood priceability there.
My
So.
mother used to always say, if you like seafood, don't go to Red Lobster. Because you're not getting the highest quality stuff. You're not. It's
So
corporate.
true.
It's
So
mass
true, my
produced.
friend. Yeah, it's
You know, it's a shame.
It's synthetic.
Even
seafood.
my chicken, it was a
Yeah.
piece of grilled chicken. It always feels a little rubbery. You know, like they just nuked it or something.
Oh, really?
That's what it seemed
Wasn't
like.
very good today.
It was okay. It wasn't.
You
bad.
always order the chicken breast.
I always get
everywhere
chicken.
you go.
I like chicken a lot.
I
It's
understand.
healthier, and
It's very
I
good
try to
for
limit
you.
my red meat intake.
No, it's very good for you.
Yeah, I like chicken. You know, I get it with broccoli and a nice baked potato. And, you know,
No, you're doing the.
It does
You're
its
doing
job.
the Sylvester Stallone Rambo diet.
I guess
basically.
that's true.
No, it's true. You are.
Yeah.
It's a shame you're not, working out for some.
Well, you know what? I
Movie
actually
part.
was for a while. I was doing 100 push-ups a day for about a month.
Really?
And then I injured my
100
shoulder.
push-ups?
Yeah, I was doing 100 push-ups every day for
That's
a month.
very impressive.
Yeah, it was good. It actually isn't that hard. It's if you just keep at it. And
Yeah,
I
of
varied. I
course.
did different
Yeah, the
types of
first
push-ups too.
4 days are the worst. And
The
then,
first week getting back, because I haven't
Yeah.
been to the gym in about a year.
there you go.
But you know what? I have an ongoing injury in my shoulder that comes and goes. I've had it for 15 years.
Ah.
And I just one day moved the wrong way and it injured. It just came back a little bit.
Oh.
So now I've been easing off.
Well, you should stay away from those push-ups then.
Well, I haven't done them in a month now because I hurt my shoulder.
What
But
a shame.
every time I get back to the gym and I'm getting into the routine again, I end up hurting myself.
Oh, boy.
I pinch a muscle in my neck or my shoulder. Then I got to take a break. So,
Yeah, you deserve a break today.
nah,
So
I'd rather be working out.
I understand.
But anyway, let's get to the show.
A break
I'd like to start.
So,
Hobbs and Shaw.
We saw it. Here we go. Hobbs and Elvis and Costello.
Yeah, it's
here.
basically
Hobbs
Tango and
Shaw.
Cash in a way, you know?
Sure. Ben and Shaw, Jerry and Hobbs.
Hobbs and Shaw,
There
whatever
we
you want
go.
to say.
Here's your basic team. Chris, did I like this film?
Oh, I don't know. I think you liked it a little bit. I don't think you loved it.
I actually did enjoy this. I was entertained.
Yeah.
This
Well,
is
that's what it is. It's pure entertainment.
it's a bubblegum for the brain
It
film.
is. You know what you're getting.
Mental masturbation, as
Mm-hmm.
I like to say. It really is just hang your hat at the door because you're going to see stuff that's just so ridiculous and so absurd and so.
Like 4 cars chained together, preventing a helicopter from flying off a mountain.
You know, I that was an interesting scene. Now, by the way, let's talk about our cast first of all. This woman's name is
Vanessa Kirby. She's
Vanessa
very good.
Kirby. She was very good.
She plays Jason Statham's
Statham's
sister in this film.
She's basically becomes the MacGuffin to some
Yeah,
extent.
she's a rogue MI6 agent, allegedly.
All right, and there's a virus, of course, that is going to completely take over world domination and destroy us all, so that we melt into a puddle of
goo.
of human soup.
Pretty much.
So,
Idris
here we go.
Elba is a
Good
villain.
to see Idris Elba in this film.
He wants the virus, right?
He wants the virus so that he can pick and choose who in the planet he wants to survive. So here's our cast.
Oh, and there's an interesting element to Idris Elba. He's kind of a lab experiment in a way. He's like almost part machine in a way. He's almost superhuman in strength.
Well, as he refers to himself in the film,
he does, yeah,
as Black Superman.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
It was pretty cool, and and it's a kind of a nice little RoboCop thing where he's got a slit in his back,
yeah.
and and the.
It looks like he had a robotic spine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's fairly interesting.
It's cool.
A little ex machina
A little
almost
bit.
in there if you want to go back into ex machina.
Yeah, I was gonna say ex Blackaba because he's
Bravo. There you go.
He was great though. I really enjoyed him in this film.
I liked everybody in this
Yeah,
movie.
I liked the cast.
This is a standard by the numbers kind of
It
formula
is.
film. But I got to say this, I liked it far better. Of course, it says Fast and Furious on the bottom.
Yeah, Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw.
There you go.
So we know we're gonna get more of these movies.
I liked it more than the Fast and Furious films.
Honestly, I didn't see the last two.
Oh, I've seen them all.
Yeah, I'd like to see the last two.
Well, Vin Diesel is just such an
I
egomaniac
know.
for me, and I really don't enjoy watching him so much because I know he's such a prima donna on the
little bit.
set. And you always hear how The Rock just wants him to show up on time, but he doesn't show up on
I
time.
know.
He doesn't adhere. He thinks I'm Mr. Hot Superstar, so I can do what I want. And The Rock is very professional.
Very,
he just wants people
very.
to show up and do their job, and so they can get the hell out, get their paycheck,
you
and go
know,
home.
Vin Diesel was in his 50s. He's older than Dwayne Johnson, The Rock.
Well, Dwayne's not that old. He's only in his 40s.
He is, but he kind of seems like he's older in a way. Like he seems like an older brother to Vin Diesel, but Vin Diesel actually is much older than him.
No, I'm not
By
surprised.
a couple years, several
I'm
years.
not surprised.
Because I
actually.
think Dwayne Johnson is like 47, 46.
Is he up there?
I think he's in that region, yeah.
Well, there was one big gaffe in this film for me, and I'm going to get right to it, even before discussing the film itself. But later on, we go to Samoa.
Oh, yeah.
And the woman who plays his mother looks like could be almost his
I was
sister.
thinking the same thing. She doesn't look old enough.
Not old enough. They
No.
should have had a really old, wise, big Samoan lady to
Yeah.
play his mom. But this woman,
Oh, maybe it's tough to find that for casting. I don't know.
Maybe so. Maybe
They could have aged her up a little bit,
They could have.
Makeup.
I thought they did a fairly lousy
But
job.
that was a fun sequence where
I liked it.
they need to get off the grid and regroup, so they go to his family in Samoa.
He goes back home.
and he hasn't
The
seen him in
Rock.
25 years.
Right.
And that is actually Dwayne Johnson's heritage too. He's part Samoan.
He's part Samoan. He's part black.
Yes.
Part Samoan.
Yeah.
That is correct.
But it was
So,
interesting. I liked that whole thing.
I did too.
And his family, they had to make custom cars, and they're all
Right.
tech heads.
I know.
Yeah. So
No,
it was a
well
fun
done.
sequence.
But this movie, let's talk about it. It's really a stunt film.
It is.
You're just looking at the stunts that they do. I thought the stunts were fairly well done.
I agree.
Ludicrous as always. Lots of green
And you
screen.
put that.
You just
You
feel
just don't worry about that. You just enjoy it.
Just hang your hat at
Yeah.
the door. I didn't like that they. And also we have Helen Mirren right here.
Plays his mother in
Plays
jail.
his mother in jail. And that was a comic little bit. I enjoyed it. I think the movie's a well-rounded little piece of action fluff. Almost felt like a Marvel film in a way.
little bit, yeah, had
Little
the scope.
superhero, had the scope of a Marvel
Yeah.
film. Just well filmed altogether. Just top notch. They put a lot of money into these films because they make a lot of money.
I know they're going to make money.
They
It was
make
ready #1 2 weekends in a row, I think.
60 million the first week.
Yeah.
I mean, it beat out The Lion King, which
Yeah.
was, I don't know how much that's done. That's already done $1
I think
billion
it's
worldwide.
$1 billion, yeah.
But this has got to be right up there. I know
doing well.
overseas, it's doing great. Here's your cast right here, just kind of focusing. And, it's basically about them trying to get the virus out of his
Yeah.
sister. Here she is. Now, she injects herself with the virus.
So-
they don't really talk about that
Well,
too
they do.
much.
She does that so she can get it away from Idris Elba.
Right.
So it's not a physical thing.
Yeah, but that's
that they
like,
need to get.
killing the patient
I
to
know.
cure the disease. Such
Yeah.
a stupid thing to do.
It is, and then
Nobody
these two
would do that.
are bickering to home. That was the only complaint I had about this film.
me too.
Is that okay? We get it. You guys hate each other.
Yeah.
You guys are at odds. You're the odd pairing.
First 45 minutes.
The whole movie, they're arguing.
No, at
There's
the
that
end.
whole
No, at the end they bond.
Well, no, of course that's expected. We know that's
Yeah.
gonna happen. But for
I've
me,
got your back, brother.
yeah,
And you've got
and we know
mine.
that that's gonna happen.
Exactly.
But there's that whole long scene on the airplane where they're bickering back and forth.
Yeah,
back
that
and
was a
forth,
drag.
Back and forth.
Well, they were just
They
doing
could've
your
cut
mama
that.
jokes, and they were
Yeah,
just
but
doing...
that was like, the movie
Yeah.
was 2 hours, 16 minutes. They easily could have cut out 15 minutes of bickering.
Right.
You only need to set that up a couple times.
I agree.
And then we had a couple fun cameos without getting into who they were. There were
Well,
two.
we can get into them.
Well, one was better than the other. Your buddy was better than the other one.
Which buddy?
Well, okay. Spoiler alert: we have your best friend Ryan Reynolds show up.
Oh yes, Ryan's at the beginning of the film. So
yeah,
that's
and
not
then
a
at
big
the end too, he
giveaway.
shows up.
And he does, and of course Kevin Hart shows up.
Kevin Hart
so.
shows up, and he's kind of annoying, but he's fun.
He is annoying.
Yeah. But it's a very Kevin Hart performance. You know, he's kind of become
no, it was
typecast.
funny. I thought Ryan Reynolds was funny.
He's funny.
Even The Rock, the girl who plays The Rock's daughter, is kind
she was
of,
good.
She's a character within her own
She
self.
is, yeah.
You know, the film is just a well-rounded piece of action fluff. There's
Yeah.
not really else we can go into about this film.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's
really a live for the moment movie. You watch it, you enjoy it while you watch it, and then you forget about it until the
much.
next one comes
Yeah.
out a year and a half later.
Exactly.
And that's basically where we're at. So I think we could actually move on.
Yeah, honestly, I don't really have much. It's an entertaining movie.
Yeah.
You know exactly what you're going to get.
you know what you're going to get.
I give it at best 3 stars.
It's
at
a
best.
3-star film,
At
but
best,
I think
yeah.
it's a solid.
But it's
3-star
well
film.
done.
I always look at my watch because I'm kind of
I know.
on a time schedule.
Yeah.
I want to get out of there
I know.
before, and I do time it to get in there before the, I hate to watch trailers because they just give away all the films
I
that
know.
I want to go see, and they'll very often
Yeah.
give vital points of a film, so I really try and stay away from trailers. This man right here adores trailers. He
I
wants
love
to see
trailers.
everything.
But I hate that they give stuff away.
They do.
But the good thing is that most of the time, I've already forgotten the trailer by the time I sit down
Well,
in the theater.
we hope that, that's kind of true.
But this was, I want to say before I forget, this was directed by David Leitch, who was,
I saw.
yeah, he did Atomic Blonde,
Oh,
and he did Deadpool Part 2.
right.
And he was an uncredited director on the original John Wick, so I guess he just had some
wow.
input. But yeah, so this is a guy who started out in the stunts. He's got a very big career as a stunt performer,
Yeah.
a
Wow.
choreographer, and now he's a director doing these kind of movies.
And he's a great
does a good
director.
job.
He's a great director.
Does
he
a great
did all
job.
3 John Wicks, correct?
No. Somebody else did 2 and 3. He just did the first
Oh,
one.
okay.
Well, I think he's involved in 2 and 3. I gotta know. He didn't. He wasn't listed as director.
Okay.
But nevertheless,
Yeah.
he's well suited for this material, and maybe he'll do the next one.
As if we give a rat's
It
ass.
doesn't matter. But let's move
We
on.
don't care.
We're gonna jump into right now. Available for streaming, things you can watch online at home.
Okay.
The rest of the show is going to be movies that are available on all the different
Life.
platforms.
Gee, I haven't heard of that one, Chris.
This is High Life.
Tell me about it.
So, High Life is a science fiction movie, a fairly interesting one with Robert Pattinson, and so it takes place in the distant future. And right away we
Well,
see
we're set on a spacecraft.
we're on a spacecraft. The whole movie's on a spacecraft.
Yeah.
And we see Robert Pattinson there, and he's raising a child. And it's mostly just the 2 of them, and she's a baby. And then we see flashbacks.
It's not just the 2 of them.
Well, I'm getting into it. Then we have a lot of flashbacks to when there was more people on the trip, on
Right.
on the ship, a crew, and then there was a doctor, which was played by Juliette Binoche.
Wonderful.
And then eventually
Always
we
good to
learn
see Juliette.
this isn't really a spoiler. You'll learn this pretty soon. We find out that everybody that was on this ship is somebody that was a prisoner on Earth. And they gave them an opportunity to be part of a scientific expedition to
Experiment, if you would.
well, to not only experiment on the ship, but to be part of an experiment with seeing the reaches of black holes. They want to go through black holes. So they say,
Who doesn't?
yeah, exactly. Stay in prison on Earth, or
They love
you're-
the Juliette Binoche.
yeah, she's great. You're
One of
never
the
going to
great
come
French
back,
actresses.
but you're going to be on this ship on this interesting mission.
Right.
So we start learning things about these characters, and we see these other characters come into play. And Juliette Binoche is a very prominent role in the film.
She is the doctor.
She's the doctor, but she was also somebody that was in jail and given this opportunity now, a second chance, so to speak.
I like how she randomly goes around the kind of ship and has sex with like whoever. She's a sexual woman. And
Well, yeah,
she
she's trying
kinda goes
to
around and
she's trying to create the first birth in space.
Correct.
By taking the sperm from the men, putting it into a viable egg of some of the female patients,
Right.
or you could say prisoners,
or even herself.
herself too.
If so be it.
There is a wild scene in this movie where she goes into this room, and it's, I guess you could say, a masturbation machine.
Oh.
That was a very.
And don't we all want one of those?
Wouldn't we all like that, right?
Wouldn't we all like
It's a
one
very
of those?
wild sequence that was really kind of cool.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen something like that in a film, and I thought that it was an interesting
Yeah.
element to this film, which
Yeah.
I actually really thought this was a very intriguing science fiction
It was
film.
a very intelligent film.
intelligent. It's slow paced,
A little too slow for my blood.
but
I
I
think.
but
It's
I enjoyed it.
It's about an hour and 58 minutes long. It just it went on a little bit too long. I do like Robert Pattinson very
I
much.
thought he was very good in this.
I've never seen him give a bad performance, even in the old Twilight films.
And this is Andre 3000 from
been
the.
around for years and years. You used to be in the
was
band.
It? Well, he was a singer for a long
He was a singer,
time.
Andre
Yeah, it was
3000.
was it Everlast? Was that the name of the band?
Could be.
Maybe not.
They make those boxing
They were a
gloves also.
duo. Yeah. But
But
he
here's
was good in this too.
Robin. You're right. A baby is born,
Yes.
and we find out that it's his sperm that created this baby. And the whole film is basically a flashback, and Robert and his baby
flashbacks.
are simply living their life.
Yeah.
I found a lot of the baby interaction at the beginning of the film very irritating. It just went on way too long, where he's goo goo gaga.
Well, he's also
with the
frustrated
baby.
because he's got, my God, I got to raise a baby now by myself.
I know, but we spend a good, I'm going to say 15, 20 minutes of him just talking to the kid at the beginning of the film.
I mean, it could be close to that, but
Yeah,
it didn't really bother me too much.
Oh, it did bother me.
Plus, if you're somebody who doesn't really like babies, you're also going to be bothered by
Well,
it.
it's not that I don't like babies. It's just that it's a one-way conversation.
I know.
Babies don't talk back. The woman looks like Shelley Duvall a little bit right here.
Well, her name was Anna Goth. We just saw her recently in the remake of Suspiria.
Oh, we did
Yeah.
indeed. Oh, yeah, she was
Pretty good.
Quite good.
She's
yeah.
got a sissy space sec look to her a little
Well,
bit.
she's got that Shelley Duvall specific.
Shelley Duvall too.
Kind of
Yeah,
that,
like you said.
she's got that albino kind of thing going on.
Like ginger mixed with like these big white eyes.
Ah, yes, there you go. Did I love this film? I really didn't.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I loved it,
For
but
me,
I
it's
enjoyed
a
it.
2.5-star film, I have to say.
See, I'm going to give it about a 3. If I
Would
were to
you?
give it a rating, I'd say 3.
Okay.
Because it was unique. It was a story that I hadn't really seen told before in science fiction.
There wasn't much of a story going on here, I got to tell you.
Yeah, but I mean,
really
it was still the setting was interesting.
That's it.
It's
There was
this
a setting,
guy's story
people
of-
moving within that setting, but very little in the plot department.
Yeah, it doesn't have a big. It has a story, but it doesn't have a big plot.
Not even a story. It's just.
Well, it
kind
does.
of,
And this guy coming to terms with being a father, and he's got to now do this mission with this kid, and it wasn't what he set out to do, and he's finding that he maybe can be a father after not thinking.
The film really turned me off. It turned me off. I watched it because it's visually nice. It's I wouldn't say it's stimulating by any means. But when we finally get to Juliette Binoche, who I can watch fart jingle bells, let's be frank.
Well, she was really
She's
captivating.
just wonderful.
In this film,
I just love her as an actress. I think she's just a lovely woman who is just a fine actress throughout her whole career. She's always watchable. She always gives it 100%. You know that. That's just Robert Pattinson. He can play eerie, he can play kind, he can play anything. We've seen him in so many great roles lately. Of course, he's about to be the new Batman. Very shortly coming up.
He's currently filming Christopher Nolan's new film, Tenet.
Oh, is he? Okay.
And he's also got a film coming out in a month or two called The Lighthouse with Willem Dafoe.
Oh, that's a biggie.
Which is a black and white film by the director of The Witch, which looks really cool.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, he's good.
That should be good.
And I thought he played a. He did a lot of acting in this film just without words, just expressions and
just attitude.
A lot of
and
film, attitude.
momentum within his own desperate, not say desperate, but just within his own general being. He provides that. He's not just a standard human just up on screen. He really does project the character that he is at all times.
Yeah, and then in these movies too, a lot of times these science fiction films that take place on ships, we see that there are a lot of these long moments where there's not a lot of talking. It's just ambient sound, people's expressions, and we get a decent amount of that in the beginning of this film. But for me, I eventually got sucked into it, and I enjoyed it. It's a French film by a French filmmaker,
Claire Denis.
Claire Denis, who's made quite a few films. She's worked with Juliette Binoche a bunch of times.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was interesting. She's not a younger lady too, so I thought that was also interesting.
Okay.
To see.
Well, we don't see her. We don't know her. We're just watching the work that is.
No, but I mean,
before us.
a lot of times you don't see.
Might reflect.
Yeah, you could be. Yeah, that. But you don't always find an older female making a science fiction film. It's a lot of times older guys doing it. So I thought it was a cool voice telling the story, because she also wrote the film too.
Oh, did she?
And and it had apparently there's a lot of improv involved and a lot of evolution of the script on set.
I can understand that because there is so little dialogue. So,
exactly.
We can very easily just.
I like that girl. She played the daughter grown up. I thought she was pretty good.
Oh yeah, later on, okay.
But I would recommend it. You can watch it. It's on Amazon. You can watch it there. And there's a new streaming platform that I just heard about yesterday, Fandango now. The movie ticket buying website, the app. Now they have a streaming platform. It's called Fandango Now. And I saw that this movie and another movie that we're going to be discussing tonight is actually available on that site too. So they seem to have a pretty good catalog of films.
Oh, excellent.
But yeah, I mean, I would say you can check it out. You can see much worse.
I'm going to say I think you should ignore this film.
But if you want a fast-paced action kind of thing, this is not a movie for you.
Well, I mean,
it's not fast-paced.
Well, there's fast-paced. Listen, 2001: A Space Odyssey is not a fast-paced action film.
No, it's not at all.
It's a very slow-moving.
slow
We're
burn.
talking 2 hours and 32
Exactly.
minutes of
brilliant
space. But you know, we're talking imagery, and there's a lot of wonderful, wonderful moments in that film. And the ending of 2001 culminates with man versus
It
machine.
does, yeah.
We have a just remarkable bit of technology. The Frankenstein. You know, man creates.
Yes.
Man creates the monster that eventually kills him.
Yes.
So with this film, I just felt that it just kind of didn't go anywhere. We have it almost turns into a standard horror film where people are just kind of dropping like fleas as we finally get, there is a virus going around that everyone is just succumbing to, and everyone is passing away. Hence the point where he's reflecting. I'm not giving anything away here, but there's everything in guarding people in the film is a flashback because they have all expired. They've all died. So, maybe I just gave away the whole movie, but I don't think so. I mean, we kind of get that.
I mean, there's more to the movie than that.
We get that at the beginning when it's just him and the child. So, for me, it just...
But I don't think everybody died because of the virus. I think there was more to it than that.
What did they die of then? They're all young people.
No, some people turned on other people, and there was self-defense involved, and there was some things...
Maybe one, but it was basically this virus that everyone's just kind of dying from.
See, I don't remember it being that big of a presence. I don't remember that. I'd have to maybe rewatch it.
They all die. I mean...
Yeah, but I don't remember it all being from a virus. I don't remember everybody dying from a virus.
Okay. Well, okay. Well,
it doesn't matter.
Maybe we saw the same film through different eyes, and that's possible too.
Different interpretations. Anyway, move on.
There you go.
So now we're going to do Tolkien.
There you go.
A film about the writer of The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit.
Correct.
Famous fantasy novels that have been made into films and loved by people all over the world. This is his story, played by Nicholas Hoult. He plays J.R.R. Tolkien. His eventual wife in the film is played by Phil Collins' daughter, Lily Collins, who's established herself as a very good actress. She's very good at this.
And she's very British. She's got
very
that
British,
cute little Lily James look.
Yeah, exactly. And in fact,
they're almost interchangeable.
At first I thought it was her.
I know.
For a split second.
They're almost interchangeable.
Yeah.
Here he is. Here's Nicholas looking very
fine actor.
And he's got his Benedict Cumberbatch hair, that little kind of wave that comes down. This is the second time within the last year that we've seen Nicholas play an author. We saw him in Rebel in the Rye just recently, where he played J.D. Salinger.
He did, that was
and that was a good little
film. A couple of years ago. That was pretty good.
That was maybe a year ago. We reviewed.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it was one of those films that was some year before, but it doesn't matter. He has played two authors recently.
Right,
yeah.
and it's the same kind of thing. He's a rebel. He's kind of an off-the-cuff writer. He's writing something that's never really been done before.
He's got a fantasy world in his head.
He's got a fantasy world in his head, just like the lady who writes the Harry Potter movies.
J.K. Rowling.
J.K. Rowling's. I think all fantasy writers have to go with the initials last name. I might just be part of the deal. Although Frank Herbert, for example,
we did Dune, obviously.
We did have Arthur C. Clarke, but he doesn't really count. Here they are as children, the Lily James and Nicholas Hoult character there. There's an element of this. I think that a lot of the British films these days bring in the World War I aspect, and I almost have a feeling that they all use the same trench set. I mean, how many times have we seen that kind of set go on?
Quite a few.
Quite a few.
And now we got this movie coming out in December 1917, a Sam Mendes film, all about World War I.
Interesting.
Which is interesting because I'm very interested in World War I because it's not a topic...
From whose aspect? The Brits? The Americans?
I think the Brits.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's one of those topics that you don't... At least for me, you don't learn a lot about World War I in school. It's very focused on the New Deal. It's focused on World War II. They don't touch on Vietnam. So World War I, in a lot of ways, is still a lot to learn for at least us Americans. Because I feel like that's something that's more.
I agree.
More of a European conflict. It
is.
And then we got involved.
Correct.
So I like movies about
Not
World
so
War
much,
I.
though. We kind of came in on as almost it was all over.
Yeah, we waited till the last minute. Yeah.
In World War II, that wasn't.
That was different. Yeah.
We came in and made it over.
Exactly. But it was a very interesting. I thought that was an interesting touch. Very gorgeous, beautiful film.
It's a beautifully done movie.
It is. Yeah.
The Brits do have. They just have a very lush, way of presenting the countryside.
Yeah.
It's all very good and proper.
It is.
You know, the dialogue is very, you know, blunt and basic and to the point,
Yeah.
and yet it's a little drawn out. It's a little masterpiece theater-y.
I liked Derek Jacobi in this film.
I did like Derek.
Who plays a professor who kind of inspires him.
Okay.
And
then we saw the guy who was Jon Snow's. Remember, he was kind of the leader of the group, Jon Snow, and he was the one that actually arranged for everyone to kill Jon Snow.
that guy.
That guy is in this film.
Oh, really? I missed that.
Yeah, he's in
I know
this
the guy
movie.
you're talking about.
It's I think he's near the beginning of the film when
I missed
there's the
him.
actual JR.
Yeah, I have some real pictures of J.R.
Yeah,
Tolkien.
there's a scene where he's sitting at a desk and they all are called to him. Don't you remember the beginning?
Oh, yeah, that was the headmaster.
The headmaster.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that was him. Okay, I
Yeah,
didn't
that was
recognize him.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I remember that guy.
Who's this?
That's J.R. Tolkien later in life.
Well, he died in 1979, so...
73, I think, right?
Was it
73 or 9. But yeah, that's
He
him.
could be right. He
That's
could
him
be
when he
right.
was an older man.
He's a fascinating individual,
is.
though. You know, I don't think that they really gave the history of J.R. Tolkien too much. It kind of went into the gang, the TCBS, you know, the country's best yogurt or the country's
TCBY?
best. No, it's TCBS.
No, but TCBY is the yogurt.
I know,
referencing.
but in this, it's TCBS.
Yeah,
they all
exactly.
have a little gang that they,
Yeah.
and they're all, one's a poet, one's a writer, one's a pianist.
Which was obviously a metaphor for the fellowship of the characters
the rings,
in the rings.
if you will, or the characters.
You got
of
the hobbits,
fellowship.
you have the elves, you have the
Exactly.
dwarfs, all together.
So I thought that they kind of brought in that element, almost like that, you know, the boys' school
Yeah.
kind of thing going on there.
I kind of like that though.
I kind of liked it too, but I felt that it's been a redundant theme in a lot of the British biopics to
Really?
some
I
extent.
never really
a little
noticed.
bit. Yeah. I mean, if you go back and things just don't come to mind, but it seems to me I've just seen 100 scenes where they're all on the campus. Here's the gang right here, and they're all, here's the little Matt Damon Jr. over there.
He does look
no
like
relation to
he
Matt.
does, yeah.
But all in all, and of course Nicholas towers over all of them. He's like a foot
He's a big
higher.
guy, yeah.
Well, they're all younger guys. Nicholas is probably in his 30s now, or late 20s maybe.
Late 20s, Nicholas Holt, I'd say,
Possibly
yeah.
so.
But he's a good actor. I like
He's
him.
a fine actor.
He's very capable.
You know, he's been going back. He goes back to one of your favorite shows. He was on Robot Chicken, believe it or not.
Everybody was on Robot Chicken.
Well, I wasn't. Thank God. Or I'd be dead right
Well,
now.
you're missing out on
having
good
killed
comedy.
myself.
I didn't watch an episode of Robot Chicken in years.
Oh, there you go. Well, anyway, he was in Robot Chicken.
Okay.
I was
Lot of celebs
going
were.
through his entire filmography, and he's been in so much stuff.
A lot.
He's just, I mean, he was the little kid in another About a Boy.
That was his big break.
That
yeah.
was his big break. He's
like
the
that
boy
film.
in
It's a good
About
film.
a Boy. And he's a beautiful human being.
Mm-hmm.
He's got him and Benedict. They could probably be brothers in another film,
Yeah.
and probably should be. But it's just a lush little bit of English, as I say,
Yeah.
masterpiece theater kind of thing, and I enjoyed
Yeah,
this
no,
film.
I enjoyed it too for what it was. I
Yeah.
had a good time watching it. It was a nice story. I just felt good watching it, you know? And,
Yeah, I agree.
He's a very wholesome kind of a guy. The Lord of the Rings was a very wholesome, for the most part, tale. And you just get that this guy was just a real creative mind. And
Yeah.
he devoted so much of his time to creating this world in his head. And it was a big distraction for him at times that there was that moment where his wife's almost like, what are you doing with this? Is this
I know. Is this something you're going to commit to, or
yeah, is
you're
it,
not?
is
You have
it
to make
burdening
that
you or
decision.
you love it, you know? So that was kind of cool.
You have to make the decision. So,
Yeah.
And he does, of
He does,
course.
yeah.
And I like that little end scene, and there's no giveaways
No.
here, but, you know, he starts to, you know, the film kind of ends with him about to undertake
Yeah.
the writing of his big three
So this is a
trilogy masterpiece.
The whole movie's like a big prologue, you know, to
It is.
that process.
Well, as rightfully show it should be.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't just show a writer sitting there writing.
No, who wants to watch that?
Who wants to
Nobody.
watch that? But I didn't love this film. We've seen
No, I
better
didn't love it either, but I
Brit
enjoyed
film-
it.
We've seen better Brit films, I think, as of recent. Just a lot of stuff.
But one of the ones we covered a couple years ago that really stands out, which we both loved, was Their Finest.
Oh,
That was great.
that was Lily James.
No, that was Gemma Arterton, I believe.
Oh, was it? Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
You are correct.
But Lily James we covered
Lily
recently.
James we covered
was in
in
yesterday.
Darkest Hour.
Yes,
she was
she
in
was
that with.
she was in The Exception,
right,
which was the one
Love
about
that.
World War One, but about the Kaiser
Right,
during World War II.
right, with Christopher Plummer.
Yeah, where he's exiled. That was very good. Check out The
And,
Exception.
Cinderella, she was in just
She was in that.
2015, which
Yeah.
I loved, by the way. That was also a British.
I know, you
take.
like that
I believe
one,
that was a British.
It
take.
might have been.
I could be wrong.
Oh, no, it might have been Disney, actually. Cinderella.
It was Disney, but yeah, you're correct.
But regardless, she's good.
She is good.
I guess, again, I'd probably stay with about 3-star for this.
I'll go 3 stars. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just it's.
I still recommend it if you like.
It's a low key watch.
It is.
You know, you might be tempted to run off and make yourself a cheeseburger while it's on, and you're not going to really miss too much. There are vital scenes though in the film, but yeah, it's entertaining.
It is. You know, you could definitely, if you like biopics, I'd say you can enjoy this. If you're a Lord of the Rings fan, Hobbit fan, you're going to want to see it just because of the connection there. I think most of those people are the core audience that went to go see it in the theater because it wasn't in the theater long.
It wasn't maybe for 3 weeks or so.
Yeah, a very short
kind
amount of time.
Cut out rather quick, but it did make it to the theater.
No, it did. I remember when it was
gives
playing.
a little credence. Yeah,
But I waited to watch it at home.
Well,
you know.
we were talking about it. It's really not a film to see.
You don't have to see it in the theater.
No, it's not a big screen film by any
not
means.
at all.
It's a very intimate movie. I did like some of the war scenes, however.
They're well done.
I do want to point out one little thing, though, before we move on here. There's a scene of him laying in like a puddle of blood for the longest time. He's just laying there. You remember?
Yeah.
They kind of
it's like muddy water. Yeah, muddy, bloody
well,
water.
It looked like muddy, bloody water.
Yeah.
And this is in World War I, and he's devastated. He's lying there. Then finally, the guy comes back to more or less save him.
Yeah.
He stands up on his feet and walks away. So in other words, he could have gotten up the whole time he's laying in this muddy, bloody water.
Well, he could have been knocked out. Simply just knocked out.
But he wasn't.
No.
He was wide awake. But the guy comes and says, "Oh, we're here. We're back to save you." And then Nicholas just stands up and they walk
think he was
over
just
to the trenches.
spaced out, you know, thinking about his
maybe.
life, and you know, the movie exaggerates how long he was probably laying there.
I know, but it seemed a bit ludicrous. Why didn't he get up earlier and just walk away?
Especially when like hell on earth is all around you.
Right.
Well, you got
there was
gas,
no
you
war.
got flames.
Well, true, but that was later on. Then he walks from that muddy,
Yes.
bloody water, and they take him over to the trenches. Now everyone's just dying and dying.
I know,
and dying.
brutal.
So we kind of feel that that's almost a flashback.
I was actually going to do some research on the trench warfare, and that seems to be the only war that really happened. It seems
The trenches?
the trench warfare, the way they were doing that, jumping up the barbed wire, you know.
Oh yeah. Well, Warhorse also.
Warhorse too. Well, that also is part of World War One. Yeah,
Correct.
But I'm saying it doesn't seem like any other war featured that kind of a fighting style. Whereas, like, I remember I used to think that the Civil War was so stupid.
Yeah.
March towards each other and start blowing people away walking. That was terrible.
Also in Wonder Woman. I guess
That was also That was all World War One.
And there she is running across the field, and there's trenches, and there's Christopher Pine, and he's back there, and they're shooting, and she's just running, and she's got the amulets, and she's,
Brutal.
reflecting all the, I love that film. I love Wonder Woman. Boy, if you
It's
want to
very
just
good.
go back and watch it.
Looking forward to the sequel.
I am too.
Next year.
I am too.
All right, so let's move
Absolutely.
on.
We can move on.
We're probably going to get a preview of that pretty soon, I would guess, a trailer.
I would think so too.
All right, now we're going to do a
My
film.
Days of Mercy.
My Days of Have Mercy.
Hello.
So, My Days of Mercy, if you'd like to give the premise.
Well, it's an interesting premise. It's about here she is, and I'm going to say the amazing Ellen Page.
She blew me away in this film.
She's so good in this film. Her father is on death row.
Played by the great Elias Koteas.
There you go. For killing her mother.
Yeah.
He's on death row. So throughout the film, it seems that there are a group of protesters who just sit in front of the prison all day long. And as the next victim of the death penalty who is going to be injected, I like the way they do an overhead shot of their last meal. We see the last meal of each.
Like at a cafeteria in the prison.
Well, they get a last meal.
Yeah, and
One
it's on a
guy had a
tray and,
cheeseburger and a
Yeah.
thing. Another guy had crackers and a
Yeah.
soup or whatever he had. But it's a protest film lodged within a love affair.
It is. It's both.
And it's also a family drama.
It is.
Amidst the turmoil.
There's Elias Koteas.
Here's Elias Koteas, of course. He's about to die. He's playing the mother. Here's Ellen Page's sister right here.
She's
I'm
very
not sure
good.
who plays her.
Amy Seimetz?
There you go.
How do you say her name? Hang on, I have it here. We just saw her recently in Pet Sematary remake.
Okay.
Yeah, Amy Seimetz. She's
Okay, and then of course we have the absolutely lovely Katie Mara here.
Mara.
They, by the way, she and Ellen produced this film.
Yeah,
You noticed?
I think I saw
They're
that.
the sole producers.
Yeah.
There's executive producers, but they're the sole producers. So they fall in love. Now Ellen Page in real life is a lesbian
She
lady.
is.
She's from
Canada.
She's from where the Titanic all the survivors, not survivors.
Newfoundland,
Well,
or-
it's where the survivors actually went to.
Okay.
No, it's not Newfoundland. It's oh God, if you said it, I know it. But there's a Titanic graveyard there.
Nice.
It's right on the part of Canada that's very close to Alaska.
Okay.
And anyway, so there's this whole protest going on, basically, where Ellen meets another
Mara,
protester.
who's on the other side.
She's on the
They
other
have
side.
protesters from both sides,
Right.
and the film travels from one state to another, different points of executions of different people.
Correct.
And you see a lot of the people on both sides traveling on
Now,
these
explain one
motorhomes.
thing to me. Did Ellen Page's father kill her father's partner?
No, not at all. No,
that
they
was-
just both met at that particular person.
Death row.
Yeah, so when Kate Mara's father's partner, who was a cop, they're both cops, when he was killed by apparently a man who was mentally handicapped,
Right.
the day he was
There
going to
you
be
go.
executed at that prison, whatever state that was in, people traveled from all over the country to protest on both sides of the argument. So Kate Mara's family was there in support of, yes, let's kill this guy, death penalty is good, where Ellen Page's side and those other people on her side were all
Right.
there, no, death penalty is
That
wrong.
penalty no good.
And they all seem to travel from prison to prison across the country.
It does seem that way.
And that's where eventually they run into each other a couple times
Right.
and start a relationship.
They do, and it's a
Yeah.
rather graphic relationship, if I may
There are
say.
about three or four
Three
sex
scenes.
scenes in this
Yeah,
film.
there's sex scenes in
One of
there.
them in particular is more graphic than the others.
Well, there's one that's where really they're kind of
They're doing
a
it.
lot of nudity, and
Yeah.
there's but
It's a very bold and brave
You know,
performance by both of them, I thought.
it's a nice love story. I felt that it was a little uneven due to the Katie Mara aspect of the relationship.
I know what you're saying.
Where Ellen is wearing her heart on her sleeve, and she's we relate to her more. It's more her story.
And Kate Mara's story, she's kind of guarded and she's got some secrets.
She's
We're not
got
going to
some
reveal.
secrets, and she's not really
Yeah.
right out there. Where Ellen, we're following Ellen back
Yeah.
home with
Yeah.
her sister and
Yeah.
both her mother is.
And they have a young brother too.
Correct. Yeah, her mother has been killed by the father, which we're not even
we're not sure
that
about.
happened.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
we kind of
We-
there's some evidence that comes later on
Yeah,
that
yeah.
that probably did happen. But regardless, we find that the Katie Mara character, we do go to her home at a later time,
Yeah.
and so there's kind of I like this film.
Honestly, I was
really
thinking
did.
about it this morning, and I think this was my favorite film
I think
of
so,
the
too.
week. Of the 5-6 films that I watched this week, this is my favorite.
And we often do that. And
I really
love that
enjoyed
I
this
love that
one.
we do that.
Yeah.
That we pick out a film.
In some weeks, I don't have a favorite.
Yeah.
You know? So,
Well,
but
yes,
this
true.
one stood out for me.
Me too.
I was
Me too.
captivated by it. I thought the performances were very strong.
Very good.
They were both just really impressive, and I thought that we've seen both of these actresses do good work before.
Yeah.
But I feel, especially Kate Mara, is not always given strong material. Sometimes she's in kind of like the more commercially kind of movies. She plays the wife, doesn't really get too much to do.
Well, the
And I
last
felt
thing
in
she
this
was in was
film-
that movie about the dog.
Megan Levy, yeah.
Right.
Which I thought it was okay for her.
She was also in 27 Hours, but had a very minimal
But,
part in that.
127 hours, yeah.
Right.
She was very good in the first season of
Sci-fi. We had that sci-fi show movie that she just did recently. Remember, she plays like a. She's from the company. She's sent by the company to go out to this field, and who's in it? I think Paul Giamatti.
that sounds familiar.
Paul Giamatti's in it, and remember he's one of the scientists, and I think she's an experiment there. No, there's a woman. The name of the film is a woman's name.
Yes, that was good.
Yes.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Yeah, that was it'll come to me. Paul Giamatti, yes, he's
Yes.
in that. She's
and
in
Kate,
that.
Kate
that
Mara
was, that was a
comes from
good
the
role
company.
from her. Yes.
She comes from a company.
She does,
And she's
exactly.
kind of almost like an android.
That was a good film.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that was very. I like that
You
one.
should
yeah.
look that up.
Oh, my
And,
phone's charging. What's your phone?
okay. My phone's right over there. You can grab it. It's right on top of the.
Yeah, that was good. It'll come to me, but I know the movie you're talking about.
Okay. Yeah, it's called Elaine or Ellen.
No, it is a woman's name.
Ellen.
yeah.
It's a woman's name, and it's a sci-fi movie, and it's very well done, and it was directed by a prominent director
It
too,
was,
somebody
yeah.
we knew.
But I thought
It's not a great film.
but it was good.
It was
and I thought
interesting.
Kate Mara was very good in this.
She was.
I thought this was one of her better roles. And I really was enjoying her performance in this film, and
Absolutely.
I thought the two of them had very good chemistry. I bought the relationship, because sometimes in movies you don't always buy the relationship. I bought this one.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you, for me, it all hinged on the amazingly vulnerable
I agree.
and naked performance, no pun intended, naked performance
Morgan,
by
it was
Ellen
called.
Page.
Morgan with Kate Mara.
Right.
Good film.
But Ellen Page really steals the show here.
She really does.
So good.
I agree.
You feel her pain. You feel her frustration with this love affair. Where's it going? There's so many little ricochets off this film, all due to her.
Yeah.
She's the central.
She carries this
centrifugal
film.
nucleus
Yeah,
of the film.
I agree.
And she's dynamite.
She really is
I really love her.
exceptional in this movie.
Yeah,
and
I thought so too.
And she really made me like this film a lot.
Yeah, I thought so
Yeah,
too.
I enjoyed
and
it.
I'm not always a big fan of her. She was in that Flatliners film, for example.
Oh, the remake. I didn't
The
see that.
remake, which
Yeah.
I kind of enjoyed. Then I went back and watched the original with Julia Roberts and Kiefer Sutherland, and that's a better film. There's no question.
She did a good movie with Evan Rachel Wood about a year or two ago.
In the Woods.
Yeah,
It's called Into the Woods.
Yeah, where they were
whatever.
stranded after like a
Right.
blackout.
Yeah, and some guy comes in.
Yeah, that was an interesting film.
That was an
I liked
interesting
that one
little,
too.
kind of a scary
A
little.
little bit, yeah. It was
rapey
a little
kinda-
bit, yeah.
Kind of film. It was a straight. I think it's just called Into the Woods.
It's Into the Woods, Into the Forest, I think, something like that.
Something, yeah.
But if you want to see this, it's on the streaming platforms.
Not to be confused with the musical.
That's Into the Woods.
Yes, right.
I think this one was called Into the Forest or something.
Possibly
Yeah.
so.
But if you want to see this, you can watch it. It's on Amazon.
Okay.
It's also on that Fandango now that I was telling you about.
Really
the new
worth
platform.
seeing.
Yeah.
Worth seeing.
Definitely check it out. I'd say 3.5 stars on this one.
I'd almost go there too.
Yeah.
I'd almost go within the genre. It's almost a 4-star film.
Yeah.
Within its own scope of what it is to.
Because it has like you said, a bunch of different themes going on.
Unique little
it is.
film. Yeah. There's
Yeah.
three plots running at all times, and they're all interesting. They're all interesting. I even like the little boy, the little brother.
And he was good.
I thought he was.
I
great.
really felt bad for him because he was a little kid and he doesn't understand
Right.
why his father doesn't want him to come see him in the prison. And
Wow.
and so he does that poignant scene towards the end where he's talking to his sister about it. And it was just a heartbreaking little moment where he's like, well, I would have told him it was okay.
Right. Yeah,
The
yeah.
kid did a good job.
I thought so too.
Yeah.
And it's a great script. It's
It
a really wonderful.
It was
little,
well directed. I want to say it's a woman. Her name was Tali Shalom Azur.
Oh wow. Okay.
So she's done a
Nice
couple of
Catholic,
things.
nice Catholic.
Catholic name, yeah. She's done a couple films before this, but nothing anybody would have heard of, so I
Okay.
didn't bother saying it.
Interesting.
But yeah, so let's move on. The good film.
Yeah.
Now
Very
we're going
much
to
so.
do Ophelia,
Okay.
which is a film, which is basically it's the retelling of Hamlet through Ophelia's eyes this time instead of Hamlet's.
Yes.
So we're familiar with the story, the characters. Daisy Ridley.
Well, you might not be familiar with the character.
Well, yeah, some people might not be.
Yeah.
But
Ophelia's kind of a commoner.
Yeah.
And she falls in love with,
Hamlet.
one day she's at a lake and
Exactly.
and Hamlet sees her. He's the prince of,
Yeah.
of Denmark.
This is
sees her.
played by Daisy Ridley, who you know from
Lovely
the new Star
Daisy.
Wars films.
The Star Wars,
She plays Rey.
Absolutely.
She's very good.
Yeah. She's wonderful. Well, Force of.
Force Awakens.
Force Awakens,
The
of
new one
course.
is The Rise of Skywalker,
Right.
coming out in December.
I'm going to watch The Force Awakens again. It's just such a great
Yeah,
movie
see,
to watch at home.
I really owe the second one, The Last Jedi, another viewing. I owe it one more time because I still only saw it.
I
one
only saw it in
time.
the theater too.
I owe it one
Yeah.
more viewing.
But it's such a wasted time. There's so much chunks of it.
I know.
That whole China
I
segment,
know, it
the
bothered
amusement,
me.
the
Didn't love
Las
it.
Vegas.
Yeah, it was a pointless
thing.
subplot.
And here we are talking about stuff that the
Doesn't
audience
matter.
has no clue what we're talking
But
about.
Ophelia,
I thought he was very good as Hamlet.
He was all right.
I
Yeah,
bought it. Clive Owen plays.
he was great.
The evil king.
He really stood out to me. Him and Naomi Watts, I thought were very good.
Naomi has 2 roles in this.
She
film.
plays 2 parts.
She plays the soothsayer kind of mixer of
She
potions.
plays. They're sisters. She plays.
This is the guy I believe who plays her
Her
father.
father, he was very
Yeah,
good.
He was very good.
I have his name in here somewhere. I didn't label it, but he's in there.
Yeah.
He's good.
You know, sometimes 2 British films in a week. We had this, and we had, we had the
Tolkien.
Tolkien film, of course. And sometimes it can be too much. And I almost thought it was too much. Look at him; he looks like a. He does look a
little silly in that
looks
wig.
like a clown, and
Yeah.
he does look a little bit. He looks a little too old for that whole genre here, but. This isn't a great movie
It's
by
not.
any means. It's a very small, contained film.
Yeah.
And none of the characters are really fleshed out. I thought Daisy, although she's lovely to look at,
Yeah.
I thought she was very one-dimensional. I don't think there's really much going on. She's just kind of a distant.
yeah,
lass.
that's
She's
what the role was, I guess, written as. She didn't. there wasn't
No,
much.
That's not true,
I didn't
sir.
think there was that much.
Shakespeare is all out, heart to blood.
No, but what I'm saying is this adaptation, this script of Shakespeare's play.
Understood.
I don't think it really gave her much to do.
Well,
But I do agree with you that I
Possibly
felt
so.
that it was kind of
well, I agree with
a
you.
one-note performance. I thought it was decent.
It's a one-note film.
It is.
Let's be honest.
I liked seeing her in something else.
I did too.
Because
and I
other
thought
than this,
and it's such a beautiful looking
it is
film.
beautiful to look at.
It's really lovely.
I agree.
mean, every scene, you know, we have a lot of blood, a lot of gore,
Yeah.
a lot of Game of Thrones kind of.
There is some violence, yeah.
Some violence going on here, which you know, a lot of running around corridors within the castle and so
a lot of
forth.
secrets being whispered in in
Very
corners
much
of the
so.
castle.
Yeah. And I understood I think I got you know, I'm not a big Shakespearean fan of most Shakespeare films. I mean, I've seen the Laurence Olivier or Larry Oliver, as he's known.
Yeah, exactly.
I've seen the Larry Oliver Hamlet from Best Picture 1948, and I love it. It's a magnificent piece of work. And it's black and white, and it's just, if you've never seen it,
I'm gonna
my
watch it, 'cause
God.
I haven't seen it,
Oh,
yeah.
it's just, it's so brilliant to watch that film. Because Lawrence directed the
Of
film,
course he did, yeah.
starred in it. I won Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor. It's just a beautiful film to watch. The only thing is that it's a two by three
Oh.
screen. There's no widescreen going on
that
here.
sucks.
Well, it's the nature of 1940s films to some extent.
Yeah.
Although we do have some screens that fill our entire television widescreen capability, but Hamlet does not. There's big blocks on the side. But regardless, I thought you know, this movie is. I think it's more of a visual feast than anything else.
It's nothing that you're gonna be thinking about a year from now. I don't think I'll ever watch it again. I as much as I enjoyed watching it,
Yeah, true.
I can't really say
No,
go out and watch it. I can't
too many
give
other
it.
too many other
I
great
can't.
things.
Yeah, I can't give it a great recommendation because there wasn't enough meat to it.
True.
It seemed like a brushstroke of Hamlet. You know,
Very nicely put. Sir.
And I just
It
didn't
really
feel
is
it had
just
a lot of depth.
a lot of canvas.
And I feel bad because it's very well intended. It's well acted for the
it
most
is.
part.
I thought Clive was great.
He was great.
I thought Clive
And
was
I
good.
thought him and Naomi really did
He's
a good
the
job.
bad guy. I thought Naomi was
Yeah.
good also.
But I can't recommend it. I can't.
I can't either.
I really can't.
I can in a way. I mean, if you just want to see Daisy Ridley,
If you want to see her in
stunningly
something
beautiful.
else,
Yeah, she's
yes.
stunningly gorgeous in this film.
And this is it's available on Amazon
Okay.
as right now, only
Right.
on Amazon. But
Oh,
you
interesting.
can watch it. I mean, that's how I watched
Yeah,
it. You know.
it's not bad. It's worth a watch. I'd say
Yeah,
that.
it's worth seeing. But again, like you say a lot of times, when there's so much out there to watch,
True.
um,
It's difficult to
I wouldn't
center
have-
on something that you could be watching something else. So why watch something that's not so great?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't. Yeah, I mean, there's so many classics that you could be watching. We could all be watching that. You know, I can't really say I would ever watch this again.
I have to tell you something though. You know, that's how I felt watching a show on Hobbs. I felt like, you know, this is just ridiculous bullshit.
Yeah.
It's just absolute bubblegum.
I know it is.
Cinema. Why am I even sitting here? Why? Because we do this
Because
show.
we're obligated to.
Well, we feel obligated.
We do.
Are we
That's true.
obligated?
No, but we feel
We're
like we
not.
got to cover the big stuff.
We do indeed. And
And some of the little stuff.
I'm
that
kind of
you know.
glad I saw Taylor and
Hobbs and
Shaw, but at the same time, I just said, you know, what am I getting out of this? Nothing.
There's really nothing there that you haven't seen in some form somewhere else.
It's all been done, and
Yes,
it's
I
all
know.
just nothing. It's just throw away. Your brain just chews it up so quick. It's gone. Do you ever need to see it again? And yet, I guarantee I will watch Taylor and Hobbs here in my home just
know.
because the sound is so beautiful.
You probably will.
You know, there's just something about it that is entertaining, and it's a great action pick.
It is, yeah.
Is it a great action pick? Oh, well, maybe I'm.
But it's
I'm
got
over-
great action set
overdoing
pieces.
it. It does indeed.
All right, so let's move on.
Okay.
Now I'm going to do, you're welcome to chime in, but the 2-minute review in this segment, the 2-minute review of a film called Prospect.
Well,
which
we both saw the film.
We did, but we're going to only spend 2 minutes
course.
on it. Can you set up a stopwatch
Well,
for us?
why don't you do 2 minutes and I'll do 2 minutes?
Then that's a
or-
4 minute, then that's
Well, then
4
we
minutes.
should just review it between the two of us for 2 minutes, and then we just
That's what I
stop.
just said, yeah.
Okay. Well, you just said that you were going to do it.
Well, no,
and
but
I would
originally
chime
that
in.
was the case because you didn't want to review it originally.
Well, no, I said why don't we just do
a quick
2
thing.
minute
Yeah,
review
we'll do a
of
2 minute
it.
review, make a
Yes,
bit out of it.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's fine. That's what I want to do.
That's what we're doing.
So,
okay.
This is the 2-minute review of Prospect. I'll wait for you to get your stopwatch ready.
All right, here is the stopwatch. Ready,
Set,
set.
go.
Okay, you want me to start?
I'll do the premise real quick and get right into it.
Okay, ready, go.
Go. Prospect is a very small feature film. It's a science fiction film about a young girl and her father that have a contract to go to a distant planet that has some special gems hidden in a poisonous forest.
They are mining.
They're mining it. While they're there, they find that there are some other people there also looking for the same thing.
Correct.
And people die and conflicts arise.
Yep.
Eventually, her father, unfortunately, it's not really a spoiler, he dies. And then she's stuck with the villain who killed his father, played by Pedro Pascal, who I think is great.
Yep.
You call him Burt Reynolds because he looks like Burt
He
Reynolds.
looks like a Spanish
He was in
Burt
Game of
Reynolds.
Thrones. He
Yeah.
played the Dorne prince.
He was wonderful.
He was great in Game of
Died
Thrones.
magnificently.
But it's then her and him, the whole movie, having to survive
Yeah.
and eventually kind of trust each other. I thought this was a pretty cool little science fiction film.
It's not bad.
It's not bad. It's
Yeah.
not anything that's going to blow you away. It's not 2001: A Space Odyssey.
No.
But it's a cool little film because it's an indie. These guys, the directors, they're a team of directors who did a bunch of shorts. One of them was
Well,
a
there's
short.
Two directors.
That's what I said. They're a pair of
said a
directors.
team, okay.
A team of two directors.
Okay. Well, that's not a
It's a
team.
directing team.
Pair of directors. Okay,
Yeah,
go
but all
ahead.
it doesn't matter. They made this as a short and got the money to do a
Let's review the
feature.
film now. You've said
I did. I reviewed it. I liked it. I thought it was a cool little sci-fi film.
Okay,
a cool little story.
I did too.
I
I like the
enjoyed it.
fact that the little girl. In sci-fi movies, we always give the benefit of the doubt to the woman.
Exactly.
The woman always overcomes
I
an
know.
alien.
Yeah. Here's Pedro Pascal.
The Ridley character, of course.
Exactly.
And, the woman always seems to dominate and always
know.
win. And I like that.
No,
I
it
like
works.
that in this. It's a well done little film.
It's cool. It's very visual.
It is.
A lot
And,
of cool special effects.
It's all set.
Lot
It's
of green
probably
screen.
shot in the hills of Virginia. We have 15 seconds
Yeah.
left. 12 seconds
But I would
left.
recommend it. You can watch it on
I would
Amazon.
recommend it too.
It's on Amazon, Hulu, Vudu, Google Play. It's out there for consumption. It's just a beautiful looking movie.
It is.
There's some cool shots.
Is it a great film? Probably not.
No, but it's good.
But it's entertaining.
2.5 dreamlike kind of a movie.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Okay.
And that was our 2-minute review.
There you go.
Not bad.
2 minutes and 4 seconds.
Yes, fast paced.
There you go. Very
All right, well,
well done.
now we're moving on to some films that are coming out.
Okay.
First, I'm just going to touch on some things that are fresh on your home video shelf. Most notably, Avengers Endgame, available for consumption. It's on the streaming platforms. It's in your stores right now.
Is it in the stores?
Blu-ray, combo pack, it's all out.
4K?
Today, yeah, I saw it
Okay.
available.
Yeah, I saw it today too.
Yeah.
I wasn't quite sure.
This I want to see.
Yeah.
This is Kenneth Branagh playing William Shakespeare late in life.
Oh, yes, correct.
Very interesting.
And as I pointed out,
Judi
many times,
Dench's wife.
he looks exactly like Ian Anderson right there from Jethro Tull.
Oh, a little bit he does, yeah.
Like
And
lang.
Trial by
Sitting
Fire,
on
a
the
film that
park bench.
nobody's heard of, but with Laura Dern.
Yeah.
It looks kind of cool.
Yeah,
All again on your video shelves. That's going to be the big one.
there you go.
And then coming soon in theaters, what's opening this weekend, we've got a bunch of stuff coming out.
Do we?
Most notably Good Boys, which is the newest kind of like child...
Super bad.
young kids swearing,
young kids swearing,
getting sex thing,
Stranger
learning about
Things
sex.
amplified.
Pretty
a
much
little
are
bit.
Stranger Things.
It's not Stranger Things,
No.
really, though. There's no superpowers
No.
going on. They're just learning about how to kiss
Exactly,
and sex.
and it's produced by the people that did Superbad.
Okay.
Angry Birds 2, I could care less about it, but
This
I thought
looks
I'd mention it.
interesting. I like the first one.
This is the sequel.
With
Wasn't Mandy Moore in the first one?
Mandy
Yeah.
Moore and somebody else.
Yeah,
who-
so this is the sequel. Feel free to go see that. This looks really good, Blinded by the Light.
This is just yesterday.
Except with
Bruce Springsteen.
With Bruce Springsteen.
It looks ridiculous.
It looks like fun though. I want to see it.
Really?
From
I
the
have no desire.
And this is interesting. Where'd You
None.
Go, Bernadette? With
Does
Kate
look-
Blanchett.
yeah.
Directed by Linklater.
Richard.
Richard Linklater, who did School of Rock and Boyhood.
Absolutely.
Always an interesting filmmaker.
I
Dazed and
agree.
Confused.
I agree.
And then this looks interesting. It's a documentary called Aquarella. It's all about water and the different ways that water impacts our planet. Climate change is covered in it. It talks about all the different ways that water can ravage the planet. Typhoons, tsunamis, all that kind of stuff. It looks interesting.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not going to be probably anything new, but I like documentaries.
I'd wait for it on Netflix personally.
Well, that's probably not even going to make it to theaters.
Yeah,
It
probably
may be premiering on streaming platforms
Exactly.
today. Maybe get a limited release in New York and LA. But that's
Possibly.
what's coming out.
There you go.
We'll be touching on a bunch of things next week, as always.
Mm-hmm.
And check us out on YouTube. There's a lot of stuff out there. We had a fun show last
check
week.
us out on YouTube.
We shot some stuff in our friend's green screen studio
we went down to
in
Secaucus
last
did
week.
the green screen, just beautiful. Check out
Check out.
Quentin Tarantino. Just do a search, Film Banter, Quentin Tarantino.
Exactly.
You know, we are hard to find. I'm finding more and more and more, it seems. We're at the bottom of the barrel. You'll do a search for Film Banter, and unless you have a number of the episode.
Well, no, Film Banter will come up along with other things
but
named
usually
Banter.
just the latest episode.
Yeah.
But there are other places, other people now doing a Film Banter
Well, there's a movie
it's very hard
Banter.
to find us. Yeah.
Yeah, so you gotta just type in Film Banter. You'll see our logo. Click on our page, and everything's there.
There you go.
You know, over 150 videos for you to watch between episodes and bits and compilations of things. A lot of stuff
Well,
out
that's
there.
true. This is episode 127, I believe.
I know, 127.
We did not mention
too
that at
shabby.
the top of the
we
show.
didn't at the
but,
top.
there you go.
But that's our show, guys. We'll catch you next
That's
week
our show,
for
guys.
more film conversation and hopefully some hilarity.
yeah, hopefully.
Hopefully, we hope so.
Hopefully. And in 3 weeks or so, we should be, or 2 weeks, we'll be going back down to Secaucus.
Yeah, we'd like to
do
go back
another-
down there probably once a month
Another
if possible.
green screen show, because
It looks so
boy,
good.
that looks so damn good.
looks great.
And do check out our. We also did a list show that was
Last week we covered-
really featured by Mr. Adam Poltz.
Yeah, he
there.
did a great job
He did a
producing
great
it.
job.
We covered our 10 best characters from Tarantino.
Right.
And again, I have to say, check out Be Terrific on YouTube. They have a whole page. They got a lot of great stuff on there.
Exactly.
They've been good to us. We're going to be good to them.
And watch how I didn't get a word in. Chris literally walked over every word I said. He interrupted me at every moment of that entire.
I wouldn't say the
10
entire
person
time,
thing.
but I had a lot to say.
You did have a lot to say.
Well,
you're
you know,
very
it goes
big-
around,
you're
comes
very
around,
big-
because sometimes you have more to say than I do,
Well,
and
sometimes
I let
that's
you have the verbal diarrhea.
Well, no, that's very true. That's very
So
true.
Tarantino is just very close to my heart, and I wanted to make sure
I know
I
he
said
is.
everything that was on my mind.
No, I know you. You're very pro.
I'm a big
Quentin.
fan.
That's true.
But folks, this is our final goodbye.
Our final goodbye?
Well, for this week.
It's not our final.
No, our final goodbye of the night.
I
Because
know.
I've tried to say goodbye 3 times.
Oh, okay. I see. All right, then goodbye.
No, but it was a good show. We'll see you guys next week.
We'll see you next week.
Take care.
Louie, where are you?
Road. Yeah, below going down. Yeah, Mr. Let's